bop ship da da do da a da da do da 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 do yeah ba ship da ba ba ship da da boom da da ba do yeah ba ship da ba do ba believe da ba do da ba do yeah. Greetings Internet, it's Dustin again with my HomeKit Home, bringing you all things Apple HomeKit, from news to how-tos to product reviews, just like this one. So if that's something that you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss out on any of our new videos as soon as they're released. You know, Chinese smart home manufacturer Aqara really has been on a roll lately, pushing into the US market with their hub and some of their more standard accessories coming to Amazon at the end of 2019, and this year with their single and double rocker switches as well, and now with their water leak sensor. And I really do think that they are shaking up the smart home game, especially for us in HomeKit. And this latest release is another example of that, with the other competitors in the HomeKit space being 2 to 3 times more expensive than their water leak sensor. So in this video, I thought we'd go through some of the features, we'd look at how to set up the device, we'll look at some things we can do with it in the Aqara Home app as well as Apple's Home app, and then at the end, I'll give you my final thoughts on the product itself. So without further ado, let's break this thing down, shall we? Now this is a water leak detector, but it is capable of detecting other types of liquids as well. It is a Zigbee device, so you will need to connect it to the Aqara hub. However, once you do have it connected, it's capable of triggering the 120 decibel siren built into the Aqara hub. It is capable of detecting liquids at 0.5 millimeters of depth, and it uses a user replaceable CR2032 battery, which should get you about 2 years of battery life. As you might expect from this type of device, it has an IP67 rating against dust and water intrusion. So let's get into the setup. Using either the Aqara Home or Mi Home apps, we can add the device by finding the actual water leak sensor from the list of devices.
Ready to connect to child devices.
We get that prompt, then we'll hold down the figure on the top of the device. It's a little bit strange, there is a button underneath there, but we'll hold that down for about 3 to 5 seconds, let it go. Once we've done that,
child device connected.
we're good to go. Then depending on which app we're using, we have a few different options to add it to different rooms. We can adjust some of the settings there, and we can also choose who we want to share it with depending on whichever app that we're using. Let's see what we can do with the water leak sensor in the Aqara app. Tapping on the device, we get into a log of past leak events, but let's see if we can actually add an event to that log. So I've got some water here, and we'll just pour it in. Yep. All right, it doesn't look like it's working. So you might be asking yourself, well, how do I actually get that to happen? And here's what we do. So I'm actually going to tap on the 3 vertical dots at the top right to get to our automation section. However, we can do the same thing from the main part of the app by tapping on the automations tab. So once we're here, we can go into our automations. I'm going to tap the plus button at the top right. We'll tap add for the if or, which is our trigger. And what I'm wanting here is that when our water leak sensor detects a leak, so I'm going to tap on our water leak sensor here, and we can see that we actually have 2 different triggers. We can have a leak detected trigger or a water recedes trigger, which is pretty interesting. I've not seen that on a HomeKit water leak sensor before, so that's pretty interesting. Now we're on to the actions part of our automation, or the then section. So we'll tap add. We'll go into the hub itself, and what I want to happen is that the hub plays an assigned sound and the night light flickers. A little bit of strange wording there, but I think we get the idea. So once we've chosen that particular action, we get into the list of sounds that are included in the Aqara hub. Not the greatest sounds in the world, and in fact I would even argue that some of them are relatively offensive. However, these are the sounds that we do have. I do use 2 of them. Generally speaking, I use the police car sound one as my security. And I think for this one we'll use the safety accident sound. We'll tap OK at the top right, and if we're happy with that, we'll tap save, we'll give it a name, and we should be good to go. One thing that you'll want to keep in mind is that if you want the security system aspect of your Aqara hub to function properly, you'll want to be in HomeKit mode. However, we can't actually add automations using the Aqara app. So what we need to do is just sign into the Aqara app, build our automation there, and then sign out, and all the automation should run as normal. So let's jump on over to Apple's Home app and see what we can do with the water leak sensor there. Now, if you were paying attention to the setup process, you would have noticed that I put the device in the Aqara Home app in the default room. That's not the same default room as in Apple's Home app. So what you'll do in order to find the device is go to whichever room has your Aqara hub, and there you'll find the device. Long pressing on that tile, you'll be able to get into the settings and reassign whichever room it's in. For me, I think I'm going to move it to the main bathroom because, well, that's where this device is going to live. Another thing that I want to make sure from this particular settings menu is that our notifications are where we want them to be. I want to receive them regardless of anybody being home and regardless of time of day. If this thing detects water, I want to know about it. Looking now at automations, here is the automation that I used at the top of the video. So hitting that plus button and the last option when a sensor detects something, we'll go and we'll track down the water leak sensor there in the main bathroom. We'll tap on that, and then we'll tap next. And we unfortunately only have the one option here for a leak being detected. And we have our conditions there that are pretty standard. And then the next part is setting up your actions. What was going to happen whenever a leak is detected. Here I have a scene that I had set up called There's a Leak. What that does is turn all of the lights in the house blue, and it also sets a siren on my HomePod. If you're interested in knowing how to set up that particular scene, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to get a video together for you on that. You know, the Aqara Water Leak Sensor is a great example of a simple product that's extraordinarily useful. You set this thing anywhere that you might think that there could be a leak, and if there is, you get notified of it, and that's about it. Yeah, it's not so flashy. You know, it doesn't have many of the other features that some of the more expensive counterparts do, but I would actually argue that those other features maybe aren't so necessary. If you take, for example, Fabaro's flood sensor, which we reviewed last year, it does have some extra features. It has a temperature sensor, it also has a tamper sensor, it has an onboard siren as well, but I just don't think that those are necessary. Don't need the temperature sensor. The siren is really not that audible, and so it doesn't really change anything. And then in terms of the tamper sensor, well, at least for those that are in HomeKit, we don't really get that exposed in HomeKit, so we can't really do anything with it. So those 3 features, even if they worked in HomeKit, I'm still not sure that it would be worth that price point. You know, a few months back, Eve released their Water Guard, which is a really unique device. It does have the ability to add extension cables to extend the detection range. It has a built-in siren, but for me, I don't really see the benefit of that unless you have a basement, and then it might be a worthwhile investment. But if a siren is something that you're into, as we saw in the video there, we have to have the hub in order to connect the water leak sensor to HomeKit, and it has a built-in siren anyway, so you've already got that built in, and even the water leak sensor and the hub together are still cheaper than the two previous devices that I mentioned. So for me, the Aqara Water Leak Sensor is just a winner, hands down. It's small, you can put it just about anywhere where you might have even the slightest bit of moisture, and you'll get notifications and a siren if you so desire whenever that happens. So do you have any questions about the Aqara Water Leak Sensor? How would you use it? Let us know in the comments down below. Also below the video in the description box, you'll find a link to pick up the Aqara Water Leak Sensor on Amazon if you're interested in that. We've also got links to our blog over at myhomekithome.com, where you'll find all sorts of useful HomeKit related information. And you'll also find links to our social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where we regularly update with more HomeKit and smart home related content. So definitely check that out. If you found today's video useful, you can let us know by giving us a big thumbs up. And if you're interested in more Aqara related content, check out this playlist here. Or you might find this video interesting here. If you're interested in more HomeKit related content and you haven't done so already, go ahead and click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of our new videos as soon as they're released. Well folks, that's about all that I have for you today. I do thank you for watching, and until I see you in the next one, this has been Dustin with My HomeKit Home.